Have you heard of the Nubian Kingdom? This ancient civilization flourished for centuries along the Nile, yet its story is often overlooked. Join us as we uncover the truth behind its remarkable history, powerful rulers, and unique culture. You might think you know ancient Egypt, but what about the powerful civilization that existed right next door? Get ready to discover the forgotten story of the Nubian Kingdom, a civilization whose rich history and cultural contributions rivaled anything you've ever seen. Beneath the golden sands of Northeast Africa, along the winding veins of the Nile River, thrived a powerful civilization, forgotten by many, but never erased by time. Welcome to the Nubian Kingdom. Spanning modern-day Sudan to southern Egypt, Nubia was more than just a neighbor to ancient Egypt. It was a powerhouse, blessed with fertile lands, rich minerals, and trade routes that would shape the destiny of entire empires. Long before the might of Kush, ancient Nubian city-states like Kerma rose from the riverbanks. Kerma became one of Africa's earliest urban centers, boasting stunning architecture and a sophisticated society. And as Kerma's influence waned, a new force emerged in Napata, ushering in the Napatan kingdom. Here, Nubian pharaohs would one day rule not only Nubia, but Egypt itself. Out of Napata rose the kingdom of Kush, a civilization that would challenge empires and define African strength for centuries. Kushite kings ruled with wisdom, worshipped their gods with grandeur, and built a society rich in symbolism, hierarchy, and harmony. They built cities of stone and pyramids of grace. They mastered metalworking, forging weapons, jewelry, and tools that outshone those of their neighbors. And from their capital at Meroë, the Kushites ushered in a golden age of learning, trade, and innovation. This was not a copy of Egyptian civilization. It was uniquely Nubian. Influenced, yes, but independent, powerful, and proud. If you wish to understand a people, look to their art. Nubian artists painted stories on pottery, carved tales into temples, and built tombs that whispered through the ages. Their pottery was elegant, smooth, and often told stories through intricate symbols. In Meroë, they built pyramids, dozens of them, with steep angles and narrow tops, distinct from Egypt's grander structures, but no less magnificent. These were royal tombs, built not just for death, but for eternal remembrance. The Nubian sense of beauty fused symbolism, geometry, and spirit. Their art didn't imitate, it influenced. Egyptian culture borrowed from Nubian style, rituals, and even language. The Nubians were not just artists and builders, they were warriors and merchants. Armed with longbows, trained archers, and swift cavalry, the Nubians struck fear into even Egyptian hearts. Their warriors were disciplined, mobile, and often clad in iron. They fought to protect trade routes that connected the Mediterranean to sub-Saharan Africa, routes flowing with gold, ivory, incense, ebony, and knowledge. Their wealth came not just from what they made, but what they controlled. The Nubians clashed with Egypt for centuries, sometimes as enemies, sometimes as rulers. The 25th dynasty of Egypt, known as the Kushite dynasty, was ruled by black African pharaohs from Nubia, who restored Egyptian temples, revived ancient gods, and sought unity from the delta to the deserts. For centuries, the story of Nubia was buried beneath sands and silence. Western historians dismissed it. Colonial narratives erased it. School books ignored it. But now, modern archaeology is peeling back the layers of history, and what we're uncovering is extraordinary. Temples, pyramids, statues and scripts, gold masks and sacred texts, artifacts that speak of a civilization as rich and complex as any in the world. The Nubian Kingdom is not a footnote, it is a chapter, a pillar in Africa's story and the world's. But the Nubian Kingdom is not just the past, it's a living legacy. In the villages along the Nile in Sudan and Egypt, Nubian culture lives on, in the rhythm of music, in the beat of drums, in the language spoken among elders and passed to children. The Nubian language, once silenced, is being revived. Folk tales once whispered by firelight are now published and performed. Nubian artists, musicians, and scholars are reclaiming their heritage, not just for themselves, but for the world. We are witnessing a Nubian renaissance, where history becomes identity, and identity becomes pride. The story of Nubia is not just African history, it is world history. It reminds us that greatness is not defined by conquest alone, but by art, by culture, by resilience. The Nubian Kingdom rose from the Nile, and its echoes still rise in us. Let the sands not cover this story again. Let it be told and remembered.